My name is Anna Morrow. I'm the program manager for the Midwest Cover Crops Council. Thank you for joining today. We're just going to discuss some of the MCCC tools for cover crop selection and management. So the mission of the Midwest Cover Crops Council is to facilitate widespread adoption of cover crops across the Midwest. So we're basically a network of professionals and farmers that work to share cover crop resources and recommendations. And we focus on kind of the getting started with cover crops, particularly for row crop rotations. And we cover 12 states and two Canadian provinces. We really focus on collaboration. We began in 2006 with a group of researchers, and the goal was to create a network and share some cover crop recommendations to really, work together to improve cover crop adoption. They quickly found that information was scattered and maybe a little inconsistent, and so they worked to build a set of recommendations and needed to rely pretty heavily on expert experience as there wasn't much research at that time. So cover crops are a conservation practice that require a change in management, not just an add-on practice like a grass waterway. And so we feel that farmers are more likely to act when there's consistent recommendations. And we like to work to get advisors all on the same page to lay that groundwork for success. So building consensus and working together is a big focus for us so that we can get those consistent recommendations. When we develop resources, we always focus on networking and building a team of experts that share different experiences so that we get good consensus across multiple sectors, different geographies, climates, soil types, specialty area, crop rotation. Try to get a good representation when we create resources. So today we're going to discuss some of the tools that Midwest Cover Crops Council offers. The recipes that we have are kind of a step-by-step recipe for beginners. Then we'll move into the selector tool, which allows you to explore seeding dates and different traits of cover crop species. The field guide is goes over basic cover crop management, and it's a nice on-the-go resource. Our website is a great place to find different MCCC events and specific topic information. And then finally today we'll touch on some trainings that we offer, some virtual and a couple of in-person opportunities. So the first resource that I'd like to start with is our cover crop recipes. This is where we recommend that you start. So they're intended to provide a starting point for farmers who are new to cover crops. So we recognize that with experience, farmers are going to fine-tune cover crops in their system, and they may try some more unique possibilities once they've kind of graduated from the introduction here with our recipes. These are a collaboration with our partners in agency and extension. They're specific to the state or province and crop rotation. So you'll see like the recipe shown on the screen is specific to Indiana. After corn and going to soybean, we'd recommend using cereal rye for a beginner. And these are really a step-by-step kind of instruction sheet. As an example, most of our recipes kind of have these topic areas. We talk about planning and preparation. What are the things we need to think about ahead of going into cover crops? So is there certain crop hybrid or variety considerations that we need to take in mind? How are we going to plant those? Residual herbicides, cover crop seed purchase. What do we need to do in the fall to be successful with this cover crop recipe? That includes crop harvest, whether you're tilling or not, the timing of planting your cover crop, how do you seed it? Are there fertility or liming considerations to be taken into consideration? And then spring work. What type of scouting clues do we need to pay attention to? What's the termination considerations, timing, modifications for weather? What if it's really dry? What if it's really wet? How do we plant that following crop? And then we follow up with some resources to kind of support each of those bullet points on decisions that you need to be making. So that was a quick introduction in our recipes that really, lines things out for you in getting started. The next tool that we're going to discuss is our selector tool or decision tool. This was really designed to be a learning tool. So as you make changes on your inputs, you can see how that impacts the decision-making process step by step. So it's not you enter all this information into a black box and then it spits out an answer. We really want you to see how different decisions that you make along the way are going to impact what cover crops you would choose. So we know in the Midwest that selection is based pretty heavily on seeding date. So we use 30 years of climate data from NOAA. And then our goals and soil type are key in making those decisions. And we provide info sheets, and the decision tool is mobile friendly. So we'll just walk through how to use this tool real quickly. We start with your state or province and county. And this is important because we are looking at the climate data from your county based on the last 30-year averages. So for example, here are the different seeding dates we would recommend for winter barley in different counties in Illinois. So you can see each county is a little different based on its location and climate. And so that's why that location information is so key, and we ask for that first. That's the only information that's necessary to work the decision tool, but we'd like for you to take advantage of a couple of other options. So we've got goals, cash crop, and soil drainage options, and we'll go through those really quickly. We have a list of goals you can choose. Everything from erosion fighter down to weed fighter. You can choose up to 3 goals for your cover crop. And when you enter those in, the response that you'll get from the tool is a rating from 4 to 0, and it will sort the cover crops based on how well they fill that goal. So you'll see, for example, winter barley is rated 4 for erosion fighter, 3 for soil builder, and 3 for quick growth, if we were to enter those 3 goals. And we always encourage you to think about the goals of your operation and why you're using a cover crop so that you can manage towards that goal. After your goal information, we ask for cash crop planting and harvest dates. And when you enter these in, this puts a kind of a gray bar over the seeding dates, just to remind you that you have a cash crop growing in the field. So this just really serves as a reminder that if you're going to seed in that time frame, you'll have to think of some type of interseeding operation. It does not take into account different rotations or herbicide restrictions. It's just a reminder that the cash crop is in the field. The next thing we have on the input sheet on the selector tool is soil drainage options. So based on your web soil survey, you enter your soil drainage class. You can put whether or not you have tile drainage in the field. And if you do have tile drainage, that will kind of correct for poor soil drainage. And then we've got a few flooding options if you've got a really tough spot in the field that tends to flood. There may be a few species that we would recommend over the others for some of those really tough flooded spots in your field. So based on your drainage, soil drainage, the output from the tool may tell you that there are a few species that are not suitable under your drainage conditions. So you'll see kind of that red caution symbol as well as the seeding dates being grayed out. So you can still see that they are an option, but just not suitable for your drainage conditions. So here's a few more options that you would get from your seeding table if this doesn't show any goal ratings or limitations for soil drainage. You'll notice that the species list to the left side of the screen, those are links. So any cover crop that you're interested in learning more about, you can click on any of those, and we've got an information sheet for each of those. So this will include things like planting information, what are your seeding dates or seeding rates based on seeding method, performance and roles, how do we expect them to perform in the field, cultural traits, potential advantages, and potential disadvantages. There are also some resources listed at the very bottom of that sheet. So we go to great lengths to get these cover crops rated for all these different categories. So please check out those information sheets. So that's everything for the selector tool. I'd like to briefly go through the field guide. This is a great resource. We'll talk a little more about it tomorrow in our webinar. But I've just chosen a few highlights that we've updated in the third edition. So these are the sections of the field guide. We've got getting started, how to choose a cover crop, and some suggested cover crops. We go into detail on seeding methods. Terminating cover crops is always, an important concern. We've added planting green. We know that that's something that's becoming more popular, and we've modified our herbicide carryover table. We've reviewed the pests section, which includes insects, slugs, voles, nematodes, and diseases. We've also got sections on the effects that cover crops may have on cash crops, economics, climate or plant type considerations, a brief overview of crop insurance and program considerations. And then probably the most popular section are the species sections that have the characteristics, goal ratings, seeding rates, and some cautions for each category of cover crop. And if you're interested in one, they are available on our website. So within the field guide, we've got a section on cover crop seeding. We've updated the climate data for the third edition. And so we've revised kind of this map of the US Midwest for seeding timeframes. We added an early interseeding timeframe, and we've added some specialized equipment like a drill interseeder, harvest mounted seeder, toolbar, and drone. The herbicide carryover table was also revised. So these are listed, corn and soybean herbicides are listed in the same table, and we've organized them by common name instead of trade name, hopefully making that easier to use. The cover crop species section, that's a really large section of the guide. We've added 3 species. So white clover, forage brassicas, so things like cabbage, collard, kale, leaf turnips and hybrids, and also balanza clover. We give seeding rates in the field guide, and they're a pretty wide range just to encompass the different conditions and purposes you may be using cover crops for. We've updated the photos and added leaf collar region photos for the grasses to help with identification. And you can see that list of species there. We've got several. And we've also added a new section, which is species commonly used in a mix. We did revise some of the species ratings in the field guide. We removed the subsoil loosener and topsoil loosener and changed that to compaction fighter. Um, Updated the forage harvest value and seeding methods. So you can see in those tables all the different selection benefits that we've rated for each of the cover crop species, and then we've got seeding rates for each of those as well. And this is the new section, species commonly used in a mix. So we get lots of questions about some of the less common cover crops that are used and what they might be like, what they might be good for. So we've included lots of photos of the seedling, and mature plants, and then given a table to help organize the information that we're gonna see as being most useful to you. So that was a quick overview of the Pocket Field Guide. Next, I'd like to just highlight a few things about our website. So this is our home screen, and you can see all of those resources that we just discussed are right there at the top of the screen, where you can easily find them, and also some information on getting started with cover crops. We've been working really hard to keep the website up to date and to include the most recent information. So the termination webpage was updated a couple of years ago, and then planting equipment and nutrient management all have new content just this year. So we're really excited about offering more information on those pages and a little more detail to help you start with cover crops. We offer a lot of extension articles on various cover crop topics, and these are all cataloged on our website by state or province, species, and topic area. So you can see our main menu listed there at the top. We've got getting started, selector tools, species, states or provinces, and other resources. Any information that we have is cross-posted across anything that article is related to. So on several of our web pages, we have the search bar on the right side of the page, followed by a browse by category option. So this is where you can find your state or province, a particular cover crop species, and go see a list of articles related to that topic area. I think that's a nice feature of the website. I thought I would just highlight a couple of topics that we have on the website that are pretty popular and get several questions. So we've got some cover crop termination guidelines. I mentioned we updated that website. We recommend for farmers who are new to growing cover crops to terminate 2 weeks before planting or when the cover crops are 6 to 12 inches tall and actively growing. You may modify that as you get more experience, but that's our recommendation for new cover crop users. Planting green is something that we're seeing more interest in, whether that's intentional or due to wet springs. And we've got some information on that on our website, where you can really dive into weigh the advantages and challenges of planting green, help you make some management decisions based on, getting your crop planting depth and seed slot closure done effectively, some equipment considerations you might want to look at, and also starter fertilizer recommendations. The last thing I'd like to highlight on our webpage are our state contacts. So if you go to your state or province webpage, we have a state contacts section, and this is where you can find your MCCC board representative, as well as some additional contacts if you have some specific questions. These crop advisor modules are a good transition. So these are a resource that are on our website, but it's related to trainings. So we have a series of 11 modules that are designed for crop advisors. The PowerPoint presentations are available for download and use. So you are welcome to download those presentations and give those to, your colleagues or at a field day presentation. There are extensive speaker notes to help you through the presentation. We cover topics like soil health, establishment, and so on. And we've also given these webinars and posted them as a video so that you can see one of our experts give the presentation, then you can download the slides and share those at different trainings. We do ask that you keep the acknowledgement slide. We worked in partnership with several on these and we'd like to see you share that. But please download those slides and use them as you see fit. Another training opportunity that we have is Cover Crop Essentials. So this is a virtual course designed for educators or ag professionals. And there are two emphases that we have that are kind of special to this course, I think. One is that we have a cohort discussions. So we really try to encourage a network of professionals who are sharing their experience and learning together and creating a broader list of contacts that they can reach out to as they share cover crop information. And then we also have demo plots that are included in this course. So we do provide seed and expect you to grow a few cover crop plots so that you can be more familiar with cover crop species and how they grow in your area. And then you can share that with your cohort to learn with others across the Midwest. So we are accepting applications for just another short period of time. I think you need to apply by the end of this week. And it will run from August to November. The main course components are listed to the side there. There are recorded videos that you need to watch and then participate with your cohort and grow some plots. And so check out the website if you're interested in something like this. It is designed for educators with less cover crop experience, so someone that does not have a lot of experience with cover crops. We have been hosting a few in-person train the trainer events. We really emphasize small groups so we have better connections. In-field demonstrations so you can see the cover crops, see the field management practices, and get some in-person networking. These are across the Midwest and pretty targeted because they're small groups. So reach out to your extension, NRCS, Soil and Water, if you're interested in one of those, and we'll try and get you on the list. And I'd like to invite you to our 20th anniversary annual meeting and conference. So as you saw, we began the Midwest Cover Crops Council in 2006, and we'd like to celebrate 20 years with you on February 10th and 11th in Dubuque, Iowa. So we will have more information coming out on our website, but please save the date. And if you're interested in any of these, I'd encourage you to join our listserv. We don't have a whole lot that goes out on there, but pretty relevant information. We've got a YouTube, Facebook, and X account, and please bookmark our website. Any questions in the chat?
Yes, Anna, one came in wondering about if it is possible to include recommended varieties or cultivars for cover crop species listed in the tool.
In those information sheets, sometimes we list some concerns with different varieties or that, some varieties really outperform others. We've been looking at, providing more detailed information on varieties. they can vary so much that it's difficult to try to incorporate that into the decision tool. But we do recognize that, there's a lot of varietal differences, and hopefully there's some guidance on the information sheet when it comes to specific varieties. But that's a great question.